Alright, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, Mr. Agung and Mr. Ruli, as our lecturer in subject ESP Assessment Design, English for Specific Purpose, specifically Assessment Design. My name is Zaran Saduyanti, and I am one of the groups of Group 9, with the members are Alia Safinatul Jannah, Mutia Nur Ramadhani, Zara Hafiza, and also myself, Zaran Saduyanti. In here, I would like to presenting my discussion results, specifically ESP for tourism, and I am as a presenter for reading skill assessment. So without any further ado, I would like to start to present the result discussion specifically for reading assessment. So without any further ado, let's start the presentation. Alright, first thing first, the vocational task I am assessing right now is reading a flight information. It is in airport services, and of course it is counted as critical thinking task. I'm already designing this to ensuring that the students in tourism, when they become a tour guide, have a correlation between their task right now until the upcoming job that they will face the situation. So reading of flight information is a basic skill for them to guide the tourists. That's why we try to ensuring that the task that we provide is contextual, meaningful, and correlate with their real life context and job related. Okay, so without info, let's move. Now, I would like to explain why this task reading of information is correlate with their study and also meet the quality of high ESP instruction. Okay, first thing first, the authenticity. This task is correlate with their workplace in the future because, as we know, reading a flight information is a basic skill for them, specifically as a tour guide. They will face a certain flight information by the tourists and then try to read and catch the meaning or information included in the flight information. So it is, of course, correlate with their workplace. So this task is not just only a task based that need to answer a specific question and then try to answer the correct one, the scanning scheming like that. No, it is like a simulation for them to pay a detailed information in flight information. So of course it is correlate and related with their workplace in the future. So we train them to be familiar, to be used in reading of flight information. So when they face a certain problem, when the tourist having a problem in like searching the details in their flight information, then the tour guide can help them. And the second one is validity. Of course, the instrument that we arrange, I made specifically has meet the requirement for having professional skill required in reading specifically. And the skill there are, if I'm not mistaken, around, wait a minute, around four types. The first one is about scanning. So we basically try to scan all of the information, specifically in here is a flight information, and then we try to scan what is the meaning, what is the detailed information, what should be notes down, the crucial one and the not crucial one. And then the second one is detailed understanding. Of course, when we read a flight information, we have to understand the details about the certain numbers that we need to note down, like the gate number of or the specific like time that when do we have to flight over and etc. And then the next one is vocabulary. We cannot understand a certain information if we didn't have any vocabulary mastery. That's why we also provide a vocabulary one. And then next one is applied task. Why applied task is included in here? Because as we know, if we try to make a task for our student, we have to include applied task because it is like to make them like being involved in the situation. So they're not just answering the correct one, but they are thinking about what should we do if we are in this situation. So they're not just answering, but they already think that they're in those situations and like facing a real life situation. And then let's say that in reading skill test, they need to require valid one, yeah, because reading is not just read all of the text, but we need to catch the meaning effectively and efficiently. That's why the instrument that we made is already valid one. And then the third one is washback. Are there any washback to the students? Of course, there it is, because we already arranged the reading assessment that included their real life context and the upcoming real workplace task. That's why it will obviously have a washback for all of the students, specifically in vocational high school, yeah. Because in reading flight information, especially in this in tourist ESP for tourism, then they will not just learn about English or grammar. They will learn a certain phrases that related to their workplace and context for ESP, like flight attendance, flight information, tourist attraction, and etc. They will learn phrases with the professional English for specific purposes. In them are the tourism context that without we know that it is correlate with their upcoming task. That's why they will obviously have critical thinking that the certain vocabulary and then the task that they will do, a performance based task is included in their like it is like a visualization of their upcoming workplace and a situation that they will done in a job. So obviously there's no flashback for the activity that we include in here because it is correlated with their workplace and also have benefits, a lot of benefits because they are already like a do simulation in the class context before jump into the workplace. All right, now in here I would like to tell and show all of you guys that this is the task that we have done in group 9, specifically by me as a presenter. The first one is a reading task about reading of that information. Of course, it is count as authentic style. It is related, correlate with the workplace that they will face in the future. And then in the reading skill test, they are scanning, and then for detailed understanding, vocabulary in context like what does the word comments mean as used in a text. So they will try to figure out what is the meaning of this word. They can try to figure it out by themselves by reading the text. And then applied task. That is the last one, applied task. So in here, there are two types of scoring design. Yeah, the first one is for overall scoring. In here, they are overall scoring. Overall scoring, yeah, scoring. In overall scoring, the section there are of course four types, 4 points. The first is scanning, detailed information, vocabulary, and applied task. All of this consists of multiple choice question because multiple choice question is not just to make them try to gogging the correct one. So they are not just the obvious answer that exists, but they're of course another like as a decay in the option one. So they will try to catch the meaning information based on the text. And then number of items for the scanning, there are 2 items, and detailed understanding also 2 items, and vocabulary also 2 items. The difference one is the applied task. Applied task consists of 4 questions, with the 2 question is multiple choice question and also open-ended question. Why we include open-ended question here? Because to ensuring that the level is not too easy. Although that the multiple choice question that we, and here why we include the open-ended question is because although that the multiple choice question that we provide or we arrange is already have a decoy option to make them choose the wrong number instead of the right one, but we have to ensure that the question or we provide have a certain high level. So that's why we choose open-ended question to understand that are they really catching the real core or idea, the meaning that the flight information has provided, something like that. And then the next one, let's move to the answer key for the objective items. In here, there are 8 questions with the correct answer. The first one for the question number 1, the correct option is B, get 12B. Get number 12B. And then the question number 2 is A, Singapore. And then question number C is 1 hour and 30 minutes from 14:15 to 15:45. And then question number 4 is B, 15:15. It is the time. And then for the question number 5 is begin. It is the question that I read earlier ago about what is the meaning of comments. It is begin or start. And then the question number 6 is be free of charge. And question number 7 is D, delayed. So they need to postpone the certain time that they arrange at first to another time. And then the question number 8 is C, the transit test. All of these question has a score 2 points. Something like that. So in total, there are 16 points in here. Now, move to the rubric for open-ended question. Basically, that we, as I already state that in here, I already include 2 open-ended question. For each of the question in open-ended question require 4 points. Of course, it has to be much more bigger the point because it is include their understanding, and then there is no option. They could only choose the correct one, but they need to arrange the word and also the correct information that they have received from the flight information. All right. In here, there are the question. I would like to read the question. The question number 9 is, as an airport ground agent, a passenger for flight TR402 approaches your desk holding a baby. Based on the specific rules in the test, what priority action should you tell them to take? Now, of course, they need to read all of the reading flight information to know to catch the meaning. What should they do? What the first thing that they have to do, and then the next one until a certain point, a certain sequence action. The expected answer in here that are report to the ground staff at the new gate. It is a gate 12B immediately for special assistance or priority boarding. Here are the expected answer. It is a full complete sentence that already acquired in the text, so they need to choose the correct one. And the rubric is included from 0 until this one, the 0 until 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So the bigger the point is, the correct their answer. I would like to read for the zero criteria. It is no answer or irrelevant. It is when they give the blank or completely unhelpful advice. So it basically they need to state or write this kind that I already stated earlier, but they write the unhelpful advice. So it is not related at all with the flight information. And then for the criteria number one is incorrect attempt. So it is like to tell them to go to a gate but names the wrong one. For example, the correct one is gate 12B but they state gate 7. Of course, it is like a fatal information. And then the next one is score criteria for 2 is partially correct, like a little bit correct. It is only mentions the new gate number like gate 12B without addressing the special infant boarding aspect, something like that. And then for the number 3 is correct but limited. Correct but limited. It is to mention going to the new gate for the baby, but forgets to say immediately or report to the staff. Because if we forget to tell immediately, they will surely like, oh, I think I still have time to do something like this, something like that, and they will obviously late to inform the new flight that they need to board, something like that. It is a fatal one actually. So you have to answer it correctly and then try to gauging the action that you need to do immediately. And then for the score 4 is fully professional. Of course, fully professional is when they give the exact answer like this and then they catch the meaning, also provide the information in details, and also there's no mistaken in the way they deliver the information. That is for question number 9. And then for the question number 10 is the same way. The point is for the question is, where exactly should you tell the passenger with the baby to go to pick up food or drink coupons while they wait? The expected answer is the transit desk to pick up complimentary refreshment vouchers, something like that. And then the score is like the same. 0 is no answer or irrelevant with the expected answer. So they give the unhelpful advice like the previous one. And then the 1 is attempt but incorrect. Like there is a slight only but not good enough to answer to cover all of the information. And then this number 2 is partially correct. The point number 3 is correct but limited. And then the last one is fully professional. If they include the detailed information, and then what should they do to deliver to the passengers, something like that. All right, that is for the reading assessment, specifically reading of flight information. All right, and then in summary that I already presenting about reading assessment in a flight information, ESP for tourism in vocational high school, it is a valid one and reliability to their workplace in the future. So we're not just ensuring that the task is for they've done to learn English, but they try to visualize that in the future they will face a certain information correlate with the task that we have arranged and done to them doing the task. So we make sure that it is authentic, and then they learn a certain skills need requirement for to be a professional tour guide. I think that's all. Thank you for spending your time in watching, and see you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.